things that are happening right now. So with that being said, I'm going to dive right into some chart work. I haven't been trading very much this week since I've been moving around so much. And I guess we'll start with that, being able to things that are happening right now. Whoa. So with that being able to trade your game, based on your lifestyle, based on your day-to-day, that's one of the most important things that you guys need to be able to do. And so I knew that I wasn't going to be having the ability to be on the charts all day and manage my trades. So I had one position that I let ride just based on some higher time frame stuff, and that's what I've been taking care of. And outside of that, I mean, not much going on, but also I just am familiar with where it is that I am in the world, where it is that I am in terms of the market. And so one of the biggest things going forward is you just need to be very, very, very familiar with your day-to-day schedule, your style. What do you like to work around? And then create a plan that goes around that because you have the ability to do that. These are 24-hour markets, and there's setups that are happening kind of all the time. That doesn't mean you have to be on the charts all the time. All that means is that you can do this based on your lifestyle. So with that being said, guys, let's get into some charts. And if you guys have any setups that you want me to give you feedback on, definitely send them in the chat, because it's not that often that you'll be able to get immediate feedback on something that you're looking at, that you see. And as well, if you have your eyes on whatever pairs, then definitely make sure to reach out right here so I can take a look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll go and we'll start diving into everything. So take a look at this, guys. So right now, what I want to get started with, and I didn't really announce this because I didn't want this to be the main purpose, but if you guys are seeing here, in about 18 or 19 minutes, we have live news. We can't see. Can you guys see my screen now? Let me know. Yeah, awesome. So in 19 minutes, 18 minutes, we will have Australian dollar news. So let me ask you guys a question. If your setup is there, okay, if your setup is there, are you someone that would take an Australian trade? Do you guys trade with news, or you just stay away from news? I want to get a good temperature check here on with you guys. Are you someone that's like, hey, I'm if my setup's there, I'm going to take it no matter what's going on in the market? Or are you someone that's kind of, take a step back, I'm just going to wait for everything to clear out? Let's see here. Wait and post news, trade only, with news, trade with the volatility, away, with news. Okay, I feel inclined to take the news information. All right, cool. So a bit of both. Okay, amazing. So yeah, guys, and again, I'm going to go in on this. So we will actually get a live setup while we're on this session. So a lot of people, we might have a little fun on today's session. So I'm going to get us started with AUD, USD, and then we'll go and we'll look at all the other Australian pairs, and we might even look at some New Zealand pairs. So let's get us started here. I'm not going to go a absolute, like, fully macro perspective on this. I'm actually just going to look at kind of where we're at right now. That's what matters a bit more to me. So on the daily, guys, one thing that I will show you is in a daily range, we're near the bottom. So price has basically been dropping since mid-July. So for the last 60 days, last 2 months or so, we've been in a downtrend. And then the last 28 days, we have been consolidating, right? So it's been a lot of sideways movement here. And so if you guys take a look at this, what are some of the most immediate things that you see over here in the market? What do you guys notice on the way down? What is there something that stands out to you? And again, one of my main goals is to not just tell you what I see in the market, but I want to get feedback from you. I want to make sure you can see some things. So Kenneth, immediately, right? Imbalance. Absolutely. Market comes crashing down, minimal pullbacks. Again, right here, huge pushes down, not much happening. Here, big movement down. So pullbacks, okay. Imbalances. So you guys nailed it, imbalances. So as we get into more detail, so I'll go into the 4-hour here, get a bit more understanding of what's happening. When I take a look at this, and we're looking at this range right now, what are some of the next, what else would you guys maybe notice? What are you seeing here? So yeah, we have the clear, a big push to the upside and a massive imbalance. So this zone here, and I'll get into the smaller time frames, and I'll show you guys a bit more of what I'm looking at here. But this was a big institutional buy and then a massive crash down that continued to work its way down. So yes, there is money up here. And so eventually we'll get up here and we can sell off from here. But we're pretty far away. Right now, we're almost 200 pips away from this area, 130-ish. My bad, I was looking at the wrong number. So we're a little far. I don't think this news event's going to get us up to here. But there are some other things that are happening. And let's see what you guys see. News, it could, unlikely, but liquidity at the bottom, consolidation at the bottom. We have a clear target to the downside. Okay. So yeah, you guys are on it. So one of the next things that we can notice is, well, what's been happening here lately? We noticed there's a bit of liquidity, right? So you see how we have this support. Now we recognize this as liquidity, which all that means is that there's retail buyers in the market here. So what that tells us is these are vulnerable buy positions where at some point price could come down and liquidate these positions. That's one. Two, so that's one bit of liquidity. Second, I'm noticing another form of and it's through a trend line. So here, right, you guys have learned these concepts, these scenarios in which they're very, very predictable buy positions. Retail is very much so in position to buy right here. So these are vulnerable areas where buys could happen. Now, I want us to zoom in a little bit more because now we have just a bit more, information. We can see the market a bit more clearly. So, okay, cool. We have these trending environments. What else could happen now? So let's go, and now it's the 1-hour chart. So we're still in a downtrend. And in this downtrend, price is slowly but surely working its way up. So over here, do you guys notice a massive move to the upside before the market comes tumbling down? You guys see that? All right. So this is something that immediately to me catches my attention. I see a huge push up here and the market comes crashing down. So it leaves imbalance as well. And what we did notice was price did get slightly into this range and left a ton of imbalance before the market worked its way down. So somewhere over here is something I'm just naturally curious to see what could happen over here. So let's have this over here. So let's draw this out. These are zones where I would be looking to sell. So we got a zone here. Let's look to sell in this kind of area right over here. So over here, and we're not too far away from this zone. I would love to sell here, especially because we've seen a lot of imbalance left behind. Here's where we had some resistance before. So in this area, I do think we can see some pretty nice reversals. All right. So second, you have a massive buy candle. There's a lot of buy. There's a lot of money, right? Positions that are open over here. So reverses from the zone. So that's pretty good. The second thing that we notice is based off of what happened this morning. So when we look at Forex Factory, we had CPI news today, and this was about 11 hours ago. So 11 hours ago, dollar news happened, and we got all of this over here. So let's look at what went down. So take a look at this. All we notice as I dive into smaller time frames here, and here you go. You guys are going to see, you guys saw how this morning, what looked like support, right? This is very predictable place where buys were in position, triple bottoms, and you had a massive spike down. I'll get even more detail for you right here. Here we go. You had a massive push down here, a huge push right back up, a quick pullback, and the market just, traded away from here. So I look at this and I think price already played off of all of this. When you guys see this and you see the huge, dollar, the news happens, everything comes crashing down, right? Price spikes down 23, 24 pips. Amazing. Market goes crazy, pulls right back up, and then the market just plays out of here. So could this have been the mitigation? And this is a question that I have for you guys all specifically. Could this have been the close of this sell position, and did the buy happen here? I think so. I think there's a really good chance. It makes sense. Prices moved away from here right after we played off of this area. So could it fill in balance here? Maybe. But my main focus wouldn't be to take any buys in this area. If anything, I would be looking to sell. I would want to sell. And we have big positions over here. And we also have all of this liquidity down here. So looking at the range here, I like AUD, USD sells, and specifically, this is kind of where we had resistance before, all of this area right there. So right in here is kind of where I like some sell positions. So let's see what happens here in the next, I think, 10 minutes, 8 minutes or so. And let's see if we spike up a little bit more, get into this range, and then sell off. And that's looking like right around that 85 level, right around here. I think we can see some pretty nice sells. And that could set us up for easy risk to reward situations. So let's say we have something like this. Now there is something to keep in mind here, and this makes it a little less favorable, is we also do have equal highs. So before we just assume the sell, no pun intended, but before we actually do this, what we do want to look at is, okay, what else is moving? What other Australian pairs move alongside AUD USD? You have stuff like AUD JPY, AUD CAD. Could something maybe be a slightly better play? NZD USD, right? Do I sell when it hits the zone? Yeah, so we're going to see the price basically kind of spike up. And when that happens, we'll kind of start to see how aggressive the initial push is. And then anywhere in the zone you can sell. So I would predetermine that. If you want to have 20, 30 pip stop loss, give yourself that wiggle room. But before we make a final decision, remember, when you're looking at the markets, there's never just one pair moving, okay? It's not. It's like a whole game. The whole market is the game. This is just one part of the game. So it's not as simple as, you could just trade one, but every once in a while, you're going to get wicked out of a position that you thought you were going to win, or that you thought was going to go your way. And it wicks you out and you're like, why did I lose that? And then afterwards it played out. And that's because sometimes you're just choosing the wrong play. It happens like that. Now, another thing that I could see happen, depending on how news plays out, is the following. And this is one that's a little riskier, but this is very possible. And it's this play here. So if you guys notice, you had a lot of sells in the market here too. So people were selling over and over and over with this trend line. And then all of a sudden we had a pretty big push up here, right? Huge move up here. And what did this do? This took out all the sells. Would you guys agree with that? Would you agree that this move up here just cleared everybody out? So what happens sometimes is after that happens, we get a break and retest type of formation. And so all of a sudden people miss this move and they're attracted. They're like, oh man, I missed the buy. You know what? Let me just take the retest. And so all of a sudden it pulls back, the market starts to go up. And that's when the market then comes down even further. So I'm really curious to see if we get something like this. So it's going to depend on how the news plays out. So either we're going to keep pushing higher and we'll get into this imbalance, or I could be wrong, right? Or market pushes down pretty quickly. It gets that break and retest type energy, whether it's here or whether it's down here, something like that. And then it comes back up. So if I get something like this, I'm also willing to play the sell off of here with the stop above the previous high. So the reason I'm interested in this right now is because of the timing of everything. What are the chances? What are the chances that about 90 minutes ago, AUD just starts going really bullish, and then all of a sudden, it's just starting to lose all this momentum right before the news event? What are the chances? So it's a little suspicious to me. A little suspicious if you don't ask me. So if you ask me. So that's what I see with AUD USD. And if you notice, NZD USD isn't coming down the same way. If anything, NZD USD could also have a similar approach. You guys can see the same thing happening here. Big push up. And then the market came crashing down. Now, the reason I'm looking at NZD USD, for those of you that have less time with me, is because AUD and NZD USD, these are correlating assets, correlating pairs. So they move kind of similar. Just take a quick look at AUD USD. And you know what? I'll just put these side by side so it's easier for you to look at. So you guys can see, I mean, they look pretty similar. These are virtually the same. The only difference is, okay, where are they now, right? How do they compare to each other right now? So when I look at NZD USD compared to AUD USD, guys, they're looking really, really, really close. So this AUD news event, it should have more volatility with Australian than it does with NZD. So I'm curious to see where this sets us up. So I might not be super focused on NZD USD for this news event, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to place an alert where the zone is just in case. Same thing here. But I do want to look at this, how price action unfolds here relatively quickly, because these kind of setups, like the one that I showed you on the smaller time frame, these tend to happen pretty quickly. So on the right side, I have AUD CAD. So I want to take a quick look at, and see, could there be a setup here that I would like, and maybe I would want to take. Maybe up here, not my favorite. Let's see, AUD CAD. We can just look at AUD JPY. AUD JPY here. Let me see. Give me a second, guys. Let me go back to one screen. So we could look at, right, a whole bunch of different Australian pairs. Which one makes the most sense? Do you even trade Australian ever? I don't really trade Australian ever. Not something that I'm really focusing on. But since we're doing this session together, I figured, hey, why not? Why not see if there's something that's making sense? So as of right now, I am going to focus on AU. And then let's see how this unfolds here. We're about 45 seconds away. So take a look at this here. So what's starting to happen? Market started to go down. Right, came up, cleared these highs. Now all of a sudden it's starting to respect these previous highs here. So let's see if this news event brings it up and drops it, or if it just makes new highs. So here we go, a couple seconds away. So cool. What did it do? This news happened super quick. Market's pushing higher. So, all right, we're not going to look for anything for sells. And guess what? This is going to open up territory for us to possibly look to sell up here. So I have this alert on this right there. So let's see if we push a little bit further out. Let's see if we get another 50 pips or so to the upside. So look at this, cleared some highs, losing momentum on AUD, USD. If we look at something like, let's say GBPUSD or EURUSD, what did it do? Similar movements, push the market down, EURUSD. Cleared these lows, cool, so liquidity there. AUD CAD. Push a little bit higher. You guys remember this trade? I was like, oh yeah, you know what, could take it, but I'd rather not. Well, it looks like that was the one. So I wanted to just see what was going to happen here, just so you guys can get a bit of an idea of what trading Australian looks like. You don't always have Australian news or New Zealand news, Asian session news, but there are setups that can be taken. You know, here we saw a push up, clear some highs, left an imbalance, worked its way down. Here was a clear setup, right? There was a lot going on and we didn't have too much time, so I wasn't going to force anything. But in this example, you know, let's say it would have been a little under 10 pips of risk and the market's already down over 11, 12 pips. So this would have been maybe like a 1-to-1 already. So cool. You guys can see that there's clearly opportunities that do happen in the market at these times. So if your schedule is more of a 9-to-5 schedule, that was a clear example of how you can actually be involved at this time. No matter what it is that your life looks like, you can always be taking advantage of what happens here in the market. So let's go back to AUD USD. And right now, right, we saw it make clear these highs, pull right back down. Am I really looking to take anything here anymore? Not really. Not unless we get all the way up here and we can look for sells. Other than that, this might have just been kind of a boring play. Nothing too exciting. I didn't even realize we're going to have Australian news today. So anyways, cool. Nothing else I'm really looking forward to here. Felt a bit more imbalanced, made its way down. I'm not like going crazy about this. I'd rather look at what's going to happen tomorrow, the rest of the week. That's really more so what I'm focusing on. So let's go look at something that's more exciting. We kind of saw how news started to do its thing, cleared the highs. Now it's working its way down low. So that's great. But indices, right? Yo, give me some indices. So let's take a look at, and you know what, guys? Depending on how this plays out, I might be able to get you guys actually an entry here, but we might need another 15 minutes or so of market structure. So you guys see how this cleared these highs, and then now the market is working its way all the way down. So depending on how price settles, we may have another selling opportunity. So we'll see what happens. Won't get too ahead of ourselves, but yeah, really interesting how that went down. And so here, saw it clear the highs. So let's look into indices or other forex pairs that you guys want. And then we can go look at that. Is the 4-hour gap relevant to you for this area? It came into that, the imbalance. Send me charts, guys. If you have specific questions, send me the charts that go along with it. Okay, so last week, right? last week I was going over some scenarios with US30. And as this was happening, you know, I was like looking at the market. I'm like, all right, guys, there's some key things that I wanted to see happen. And depending on what happened was going to kind of give us a basis of what to expect. So I was looking to see what was price going to do in this zone. And what we are getting is we're starting to see potential distribution over here with US30. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And then this way I might be able to position you guys for some plays for tomorrow, New York session. So here we go. This one played out over there. And then this one ended up playing out right here. So dollar news, beautiful. There it went. All right. So I'm sure some of you traded this morning, New York Open, the fun that comes along with that. And seeing the market here right now, what is there to do? Right? What can we do with the conditions that the market's in right now? And when I look at this, it doesn't look too fun. It really doesn't. There's a lot of choppiness here. We saw some the market spiked down towards the end of New York session. And then right now it's kind of slowly working its way up during Asian session, which is normal. US30, NAS, S&P, they're pretty boring during Asian session. So if I look at this, absolutely nothing stands out to me in terms of entries, not with US30 at least. Now we do have this spike down before the market did work its way back up. But if we look at overall how this market's looking, it's pretty choppy. The best entry was the one in here. Like this one in the zone was on point. But right now, every time we come into these levels, we're losing a lot of momentum. So it looks like this can be a reaccumulation of sorts. But it's not abundantly clear if I look at just US 30. I would want to see what might NAS be showing us, right? Could NASDAQ have a better entry opportunity here? And let me clear this out here. You know what's cool? During convention, we took a buy down here. I don't know if you guys remember this one. I think it might have been the only day that I streamed last week, but we took a buy over here. And then I held this thing all the way to here, right up to here. Literally the exit was so on point. And this happened all during convention. I literally forgot about it. And then it was Monday and New York Open. I'm like, oh, sweet. Close that right up. It was right before a flight somewhere. So it was on point. Super, super solid. And then, but anyways, all of that went down. And in the meantime, the market did work its way back down to then accumulate once again. So what can we do with the information that we have? If we look at how the market's been unfolding here, and the beautiful thing about indices is we can afford to look at the smallest of time frames. It's so cool. I love indices for this fact. We don't have to spend too much time in the higher time frames because the lower time frames have a very, very good win rate. So when I look at this, I see equal lows down here. I see a spike to the bottom during New York session. So I see something like this unfold. And then now that we have something like this, market comes down to here, feels a little bit of imbalance, but it doesn't quite get to where I needed it to. So if I'm trading this during New York Open and we get into this zone, there's a pretty good chance I'm taking a buy in this area. A lot more imbalance left to fill. So what I would be looking at would be, what's the divergence between NAS and US30? So look at US30 and look at NAS. Right, US30 is moving way differently. US30 is a bit more bearish. NAS is a bit more bullish. So guys, this looks so clean to me. I'm going to be taking buys. If everything stays pretty similar, this looks like clean buys in my book. Some pretty good plays here. So really is going to depend on your trading approach, your take profit, exits 2-to-1, 3-to-1. You guys know your exit strategy is better than I do. So I'd say this 2-to-1 here is the safest approach and exit. Higher probability to really, collect your money, call it a day. Obviously, if you see things happening a little differently, then feel free to hold this a little bit longer. All right, here we go. So something like this, looks pretty clean. You guys look at the market, you saw it sweep the lows, we got higher highs, came back down, mitigated these sells, market gives us some higher highs, pulls back, fills some imbalance, didn't quite get down to where we needed to, and then back up we go. So personally, I think we can go make higher highs, but we don't need to go and collect all of that. It's not necessary. Follow your plan. So here's NAS100. This is the first official trade idea that I like. So it's NAS100 and focus on this. I sent it to someone privately by accident. There we go. NAS100. Yeah, I would take this. So tomorrow around 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Pacific is when I'd be focusing on what's going on in the market. Let me take a quick look at this. So tomorrow also, you have more news. Okay. And that this is happening specifically. Let me switch over to, where am I right now? What time zone am I even in? I think I'm in mountain time. Here we go. Okay. All right. So, dude, the time zone situation is hectic this last 10 days. That's 20 days. I've been mind blown. All right, cool. So tomorrow, an hour before New York Open, there will be news. So what that means is tomorrow is going to be fun. So wake up a little earlier than usual, set an alarm, set yourself up for success. Because an hour before New York Open, there is PPI. This is a lot of things should happen here. Unemployment claims, retail, it's going to get fun. So be ready. And then an hour after this, you'll have New York Open. So this could set up the trade. This could trigger the trade that I'm sharing, or it could set up for a completely different setup. But what I will say is just be prepared to take advantage, because these are going to be volatile times and they're going to be fun. So this is the setup for NAS. This is what I'm waiting for right now. Outside of this, I'm not really looking for, I don't see the sells. Like I wish I could see sell setups, but I really just don't see the entry. Not with NAS. Here, when we look at US30, for example, the only thing that I see here is liquidity. And really choppy, slow internet right now. Hold on. Okay. So liquidity, trending markets, I'm not necessarily too in love with any sells at the moment. So either that buy is going to set up tomorrow or that news event could do something different. What about NAS100 buy idea on the 1 minute time frame? This one, which one? Send me charts, guys. Send me the charts. Send me the charts. This one that just happened. Or are you talking about kind of what happened over here? I'm going to drop in a bit. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know. But these little tiny candles, like I'm not really too focused on these. These are tiny 3-point movements. Like I'm not, that's just super insignificant. So there's NAS. Now, since we have a lot more dollar news, tomorrow we have dollar news, we have euro news, 2 sets of euro news. So, and then we have more dollar news on Friday. So the market's going to be fun. It's going to be moving. So please make sure you're doing your due diligence and you're mindful of what's going on in the marketplace. So what I'll do is I'll look at more dollar setups and we'll see what we can do here. GBP CAD. Okay. Yeah, I can take a look at that. So remember what happened AUD USD, right? So we had AU make a push to the upside here. It cleared out people who were looking to sell this down. It came to these lows. So it got right below these lows. And then the market kind of quickly is recovering right now. So I'm not entirely sold on these sells, to be honest. I think that market can keep pushing higher. So AUD USD, I'm okay with staying out of for now. I think we could see different setups with better opportunities in the future here. All right, let's see. I'm getting a little laggy here. All right, Marcos, what you got? Yeah, I think you missed our entire conversation about this exact setup. Oh, you're saying, so not even trading this, you're trading over here. Yeah, that's a possibility too. I do think we already closed out this sell when the market came back here. So, okay, for example, the market opened up, it puts money into the market, which drives price down. Great. Then we had a higher high. So then price comes back down. From here, we saw a massive push up. So the only way that this kind of movement happens is when there's an exchange of money. So it only makes sense for what was a sell in the past to be used for this buy that drives price higher. So that's one of the reasons why I could see this not play out. But you know, if it follows your plan, then you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. So okay, there's AU. We talked a little bit about NZD USD. Let's look at Euro USD. So EU. You guys can probably guess where we're going with this. I need to close out of some things here. Hold on. For sure, need to close out of something. Give me a sec. What do I have up? Interesting. I think it's just being in El Salvador, to be honest. I'm like, what do I do? All right, here we go. Okay, so Euro USD, what's happening right now? Tomorrow we have multiple dollar news events, and I'll start with you first. What do you see with Euro USD? If you see anything with Euro USD, what do you guys see? London session, sometimes you might see something, but the volatility just happens to be so low sometimes. So here's what I got for you guys. When I see this, I'm just seeing so much liquidity over here right now. Like there's just so much money. Like it's pretty easy to see that at some point in time we're going to be sweeping these levels. Would you agree? We have some equal highs over here. So we're kind of squeezing. We're definitely squeezing. Now, when I zoom out a little bit more, I think it's pretty clear. We see a big move up in price before the market comes tumbling down. So when we look at something like this, look at that, you get a nice little sell zone. Market drove price higher, filled imbalances, cleared out sellers, and then market comes crashing down. Quite a bit of imbalance over here. We have a lot of volatility tomorrow, a lot, multiple scenarios, and then we same thing on Friday. So whether we clear the highs and then come for the lows first, or we go for the lows and then search for the highs, one of these are going to happen. There's definitely a lot of volatility all over the place here. So my thought process with what to expect here is the following. Let me go ahead and I want to give you guys a little bit of a context, right, to this scenario here. So we have two main scenarios. First one, just kind of based on where we're at right now. Okay. First one, price. Let's see here. You're going to have market targets, trending, liquidity. So price dives first, sweeping below 1.07. Then seeking roughly 1.0850. All this traveling got me some type of way. Then mitigating 1.850. All right. So this is one option, or market kicks off bullish, sending us to previous institutional buy near 1.0850. Mitigating these prices could send us below 1.07. Simply respond to what price shows us. Do not assume. Okay, so something like this makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know, you guys let me know what you think, but this is my take on what we can expect here. So I'm going to add this right there, just so now you guys have also an understanding of why I'm expecting this. Not just here's the chart, but here's the motive. There's imbalance here that it's going to target too. So here we go. Was it first time in Croatia? Would you go back? It was, yeah, it was. And yeah, Croatia was cool. So EURUSD, and I think that should be the right chart. You guys can confirm and let me know if that's the right chart. My thoughts on gold. I can look at gold in a sec. So here's EU, and then we have GU. Now GU, a little different. If we compare them both, the fact that EU can swipe the lows, that does kind of give me an insight that way. I think we can also push down for GU as well. So similar scenario between GBPUSD and EURUSD in terms of like, there's this money, there's liquidity that needs to be found. And so I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on GU and let's see how this unfolds. So we had these equal lows right here, and we have those trending lows as well. So here's where the market was squeezing. Then we had some volatility this morning. Clears the market lower, leaves an imbalance here before the market just starts to move sideways throughout all of Asian session. And bonus points, leave some liquidity as well. So this is where we have our last point of supply. And if we zoom in a little bit more, we can clearly tell there's imbalance in this area. So buys are definitely an idea in the market here. Right here. This is what I would be looking for. Something like this. And so we could see the market give us a nice little push down before we clear these highs. So something like this would look good. We would fill some more of this imbalance already been taken care of. So something like this makes sense. Clearing these highs. And then you have, these lows that we've seen in the past. We've seen a good level of support in this area prior. These levels become relevant once again once they've been liquidated. So once those prices have been taken care of once, and now we could see these here again. So we got GU as well. GBPUSD. There's your chart there. It's the right chart. And let me go ahead and I'm going to make sure I send these in the pit talk. If you're learning something right now, if these markups are making sense to you, let me know in the chat. Let me see. I want to make sure you guys are learning something new. Is go live scheduled? No. So my go live has totally changed. By the way, you guys are going to love it. Absolutely. You guys are going to definitely like what's good now. So check this out. All right. Hold on. Bhavik, I'm going to open your chart right now. Where was the first one? Oh, here's NAS. Sept. All right, so here is, all right, these are the three that I've gone over so far. I will go over one more. I'm going to go over, I think it was gold. What do I think? AU. So these lows, I don't know how I felt about those lows. So we can take a quick look again, but I just wasn't like really in love with it. It could have, it maybe, but it just wasn't really my favorite setup. Looks like it did play out though. Nice. Got below, came back up, down it goes. So looks like it worked out. Buenas noches. All right, you guys. I got a solid entry on it. Nice. Is it more risky to place those kind of crazy news wicks, or does it not really matter? Market's going to do what it's going to do, ¿No consideras liquidez esas velas con mechas? Pásame el ejemplo. ¿Cuál exactamente? Yo, so take a look at this, guys. And I do have another meeting I have to get to, but in terms of my schedule, so hop on tomorrow if you have any more questions. I did run out of time, but in terms of what to expect tomorrow or for Go Live. So starting next week, guys, starting next week, we have the Sunday psychology sessions. Hold on. The Sunday psychology sessions. Well, we're gonna have like midday. So where is my schedule? Somewhere over here. Boom. So Sunday is at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. No, this is Mountain Time, actually. So I'll make it easier for you guys. 3 p.m. Eastern. And then guess what, guys? Officially, I am live on Mondays now for the New York Open session. So Monday, Thursday, and Friday, I will be live during New York Open with you guys. It's completely new. So now Monday, Thursday, Friday, we get to trade that opening, beautiful opening, 9:30 a.m. candle, 8:30 a.m. Central. So from 7 to 8, Monday, Thursday, Friday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday is the following. So this is how it goes. Sunday, I have English, then Spanish, Sunday psychology sessions. Okay. Monday, English and Spanish. Tuesday, Spanish then English. Wednesday, Spanish then English. And then Thursday and Friday, English and Spanish. So look at the sessions here. So 3 days I start with English and 2 are in Spanish. So guys, for those of you that are confused, FRX and TBX are now one package, which is the foreign exchange package. If you have Empowered, which I believe most of you do, and you had both of those, then now you get foreign exchange, like a foreign exchange education, and then the crypto and stocks. So that's now combined. So now you can get those two. So make sure that you just be aware of what your Empowered is and which packages you have. But yeah, that everything just got combined. So it's pretty sick. I'll have a flyer with my new schedule and everything for you guys here shortly. And that way we can take a look at that and you guys can be on pace. But I'll be spamming you guys with alerts and letting you know when I'm live and all that good stuff. But with that being said, someone asking about gold. Right now, I'm not a fan of this. Tomorrow, we might see it give us more telling information. But until then, I'd rather just kind of stay off the charts. But anyways, guys, much love. Appreciate your time, energy, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And this recording will be available within the next probably like 5-10 minutes. So